Okay, well, it's almost 2 weeks since the declaration of the ceasefires here in Gaza, and I can tell you that the mood has very definitely moved from one of overwhelming grief to a pervasive sense of anger. People here are, of course, coming to terms with their new reality. Tens of thousands of them have no homes anymore. It's just piles of rubble. And also the aid effort is hampered by the lack of access. So this is very frustrating for all here, and not least those that are waiting for the aid. The situation is that since the ceasefire was declared, or ceasefires I should say were declared, we've had an average of about 100 trucks of aid coming in through the Kerem Shalom crossing point, which is the crossing point that is used for the passage of the food and the other humanitarian items. There are a small number of trucks of medicine that get through at Rafah, and there have been a number of trucks, again very small in number, through the Erez crossing. But again, there's nothing regular or significant in those numbers. The bottom line is that we are depending on the crossing point at Kerem Shalom as the principal crossing for all humanitarian assistance at the moment, including aid that comes through Egypt. So the Alauja crossing point between Egypt and Israel, and then into warehouses at Kerem Shalom, and then into Gaza. Just to compare what 100 trucks a day means, by comparison with the second half of last year, when we had 2 crossing points open for similar purpose, one at Sofa and Kerem Shalom, we were getting 130 trucks per day on average. So in the second half of last year, we were getting in more aid through those 2 crossing points combined than we are through the single crossing point at Kerem Shalom. This, of course, is set against the backdrop of the huge new demand that is here, not just what it was before, but added to. We now at UNRWA have had to increase the numbers on our food distribution from 750,000 to 900,000. This includes the PA employees who have not been in receipt of their salaries because of the cash shortage here. The salaries are in their bank accounts, but because of the cash shortages, they're not able to get out their full salaries, and have only been getting very small percentages of those salaries for the last 2 months. So those people are now in need of food assistance because they simply have no means to acquire the food until the cash comes in. As we know, this has been a long-standing issue. It has been resolved for UNRWA, so we have been able to secure the cash that we need to pay our staff, which of course has saved us having to put them on the food rolls. And also we have received 40 million shekels to begin our program of providing cash assistance to the poorest of the poor. We've given them 200 shekel handout of cash, which is a little more than 50 United States dollars per family, as by way of cash assistance, and also for the back to school effort that we're conducting here, we've also handed out cash through the and to the school children for the expenses that their parents will have associated with buying pencils and notebooks and so on. So they have received about $25 supplement for that purpose, which has also already been distributed. So it's of course another issue for us here is how to help those who have no homes. 10,000 of them had been in our schools. We found alternative accommodation for them and paid them rental subsidies to assist them to through an interim period. We've also had to, in places where there are no accommodations to rent, we've had to find shelters for them in other locations such as sports clubs and other community-based organisations. But the vast overwhelming majority are now either in rented accommodation or in most instances with family and friends elsewhere. There's tens of thousands are displaced from their former homes because simply their homes are either destroyed or uninhabitable. But this is, of course, the biggest issue that we face, to get them immediate assistance by way of blankets and mattresses and other very basic items such as clothes. I mean, they have nothing. They have absolutely nothing. Therefore, they are entirely dependent on what we can get to them. So that's the predominant focus of our effort at the moment, is to meet the most urgent needs in terms of food and non-food items for those that are most destitute. And as I say, our food role has now increased significantly to cover almost 90% of the refugee population here.